Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Solves podcast. This is episode number 75, and it is a special one. But yeah, anybody that is listening, they won't say hello. Say hello, Mike.
Buongiorno.
Maybe you know, maybe you don't. Maybe just from that alone you can tell. But we are in the same room. Yes, we are back in Casa del Clay, which is Mike. It's good to have you back. How are you?
Aye, I've been better. How are you?
Oh, I've been better, but nowhere near as bad as you. Yes.
That's all right. I mean, I have also been worse, to be fair. For the rundown for everybody, obviously we missed a week, and we had a kind of hiatus in between as well because we had technical issues. But
yeah,
you know, I often say that real life gets in the way. Real life really has got in the way. I've had undiagnosed gastric issues, which I'm getting blood and stool tests for, lucky me. And in the process, I've actually lost my job. Woo!
Yeah. Poor Mike is unemployed, which is
and frail as well, apparently. Levi keeps calling me frail and getting me upset.
Put those fucking arms up. Show everybody. Look.
Still a fucking beast.
You're squeezing your
Still
belly.
a fucking beast. Yeah, fucking.
If you weren't tense in those arms, you very much have the look of a man that might struggle to lift a box. So
I do look pretty slim. Like, the worst part being I've lost weight everywhere but my stomach, so I look just like an inflated gut alcoholic now.
At least I'm a little bit more in proportion all over. Every part of me is fat, and that's
You're not fat.
Oh, you're too fucking kind.
No, I'm just honest.
Yeah, I'll accept it. Fine. I'll just wait for everybody else to hurl abuse at me in the comments. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, it's kind of in lieu of Mike being unemployed. We're doing our best to help Mike out now. So we never withdraw the money from our Teespring account. We just put it there and then use it to pay for hosting whenever that's an option. Mm-hmm. I've withdrawn all the money that we had in our Teespring account, and I've given that all to Mike to help him while he is unemployed, because who knows how long it'll be until he gets a new job. So if anybody would like to pick up a t-shirt to help support Mike, all of the money will be going to Mike. So head on over to our Teespring store, link in the description, and yeah, get yourself something nice. Can you come up with a cool idea for like a new t-shirt that we can put up for those people out there that have bought every single piece of merch that we have available as is?
You could take a photo of me with a bit of cardboard that just says, like, I don't know, like, will rant for money.
Yeah.
As if I'm homeless.
Or we could use your face as it is currently in the logo. I could put a little tear and a speech bubble that says, I can't lift a heavy box. Hashtag frail.
I mean, it's only going to be a matter of time before you get battered.
I know.
You know that?
Battered by the chopstick arms, so I'm looking for
exactly. Like fucking bamboo canes.
Like little spears.
Like fucking the baddie in Terminator.
Yeah.
Right through you. Thanks very much, mate. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I know I'm really vocal about mental health stuff. That's been a big part of everything going on as well.
Yeah.
And I just want people to know that, as we've spoke about before, so there's no shame in asking for help.
Yep.
You need to rely on your support network, etc. I spoke to you about a couple of things and you basically went, don't be fucking stupid. Here are your options.
Yeah.
Do something serious. And I have started taking some antidepressants to see if that helps any.
Sure.
So I just thought it'd be nice to share that. Like, I've always been pretty candid and open about mental health, or my own mental health at least, with the hopes that it helps other people.
Yeah.
Had a couple of people reach out and chat away, and I'd like to think that if this at least gives one other person the understanding that there's nothing wrong with it, and you can, as far as I see, it's a crutch.
Yeah.
I've got a broken leg at the moment in my brain.
Yeah.
When I can walk again, I won't use the crutch.
Yeah. It's funny because I agree with you completely, but I never seek for any help because I kind of like the challenge. I mean, I don't. Usually when we don't do a podcast, it's because there's been some sort of scheduling issue, something's come up with you. It's very rare as I'm like, nah, it's just not happening. We were going to record right when I got back from holiday, and it was very much like, you know, I'll hit you up tomorrow and we'll do something. And I just didn't get in contact because I just sat in this studio that day and didn't want to do anything. Mm-hmm. It was an awful day. It's been a pretty rough week, to be honest, but that's good. I like the challenge of trying to get myself better, and nothing makes me better than doing a podcast and you know, having a song and dance. Being all happy.
We have been laughing, to be fair, man.
Yes.
Like, Pop-Tarts, nice lemonade, the new Tony Hawk's.
Yeah,
I mean, before we even get into the fucking podcast, the new Tony Hawk's
is good. Yeah, is very good, especially after coming off the back of Ghost of Tsushima, which is just Samurai Assassin's Creed, which I appreciate most people are going to go, yeah, but that's the Assassin's Creed that everybody's always wanted. After you've just finished Sekiro and you go on to Ghost of Tsushima, it's just a long, drawn-out, boring game. So my palate cleanser is going to be Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Oh, aye. Right up there.
Before I get back onto Neo. So, yeah. That'll be good.
Eventually.
So to close up this little intro section, please do head on over to our Teespring and grab a shirt to support Mike. And if you don't, I was going to say if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to do that, you're well, fair enough. If you are able to do that, would like to do that, but choose not to do that, I guess that makes you a douchebag.
Just before it goes any further, I'm not. Sex work is real work, and if it comes to it, I will get an OnlyFans for you. I know there's a couple of people who are interested, Levi specifically, although he's already seen me naked. If that's something you want, let me know.
If you'd like to see Mike lifting heavy boxes while naked.
Look at the wee spindly arms.
No, Mike, lift from the legs. Lift from the legs.
How am I supposed to build my arms up if I'm lifting for the legs, you fucking sausage? You don't go to the gym like, I can't wait to do deadlifts and then just don't engage your arms at all.
Yeah, good for, I'm going to make fun again, and I'm not in the position to because I clearly haven't been to a gym in a while either. But don't come to me with those arms and tell me about gym etiquette.
I couldn't spell gym.
JIM, it suits. Duh. Please do head on over to our Teespring. If that doesn't suit and you want to spend a little bit more money, then did you know?
Beat it.
This show is brought to you by Ormsby Guitars. We want to thank Perry and the guys over at Ormsby for all of their support. It is very much appreciated. For those unfamiliar with Ormsby and what they do, they're wonderful guitars built by Perry out in Australia. And probably what they're most notable for in recent years is actually doing these runs of guitars that are actually built offshore and then brought into Australia for quality control and then sent on out. So if you head on over to ormsbyguitars.com and check out the pre-order section on their website, you can check out some of the upcoming runs, get involved for a very low price, and prepayment plans, payment over a series of months. Great way to get yourself a killer instrument and absolutely killer price. So as always, thank you so much for the support, guys. Check them out and let them know that we sent you. Anyway, on with the show. So as always, a massive thank you to our friends over at Ormsby Guitars. They absolutely rock. Please do go and check them out. You can see my Ormsby there on the wall. I should get another one.
You should. I mean, I've got 3 and I'm pretty happy at that, but more.
I mean, we've been with Ormsby now for a fair old amount of time. We might be due to look into extending that, and the best way to make that appealing to Perry and the guys is to go and buy one of their guitars, because then it makes us worthwhile. So
worthwhile.
Yeah, please do go and check out Ormsby Guitars. They make great instruments, and I'm sure they make something you enjoy. So, shall we talk about guitar-related stuff?
Let's do it. Why not?
So in a bit of a follow-on to our last episode, our sort of special episode, the music theory episode, I'm going to test Mike now. We had a mini guitar lesson before this lesson.
Yes.
Just clarifying terms, because we're looking to get better at, working songs out. And it's very easy to pick up a guitar, as we know, and noodle around and try and find what somebody is doing, but it's helpful if you have a rough idea of what is likely to be played. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to work out a song if you don't know a couple of bar chords. But if you know a couple of bar chords, you can use the things you know to try and find the things that are being played.
That's kind of how I do it.
Yeah.
My brain associates certain chords with shapes and positions, and then I'll try and work it for there.
Yeah. What we're looking to improve upon now is terminology a little bit. Which will open up the avenues of what is possible. You might hear a sound and go, maybe that's this shape that I know, but then you might start to hear it a little bit more deeply and go, I can hear that nice kind of money quality, which I associate with a major 7 sound, that lush sound. There's the money chord type thing. I can hear that. Maybe it's not this bar chord that I'm going for. Why don't I try one of my major 7 voicings, etc. So to sort our terminology out, I clarified with Mike the difference between a major 7 chord and a dominant 7 chord. So Mike, test time.
You did that.
Pop quiz.
Let's go for it.
What's a major triad?
Major triad is 1, 3, 5.
Banging. What's a major 7 chord?
Major 7 is the 1, 3, 5 and 7.
Good. And a dominant 7?
1, 3, 5 and a flat 7.
Bingo. And that difference between those two chords, for me, describing them, major chords are your pop sound, major 7 chords are your luscious money sound, the expensive chords, as people say, and that dominant 7 is just that bluesy quality, and it gives it that nice inbuilt need to resolve the chord, inbuilt need for the chord to resolve up. It's a bit of
push, isn't it? It feels that way.
Yeah, and there's something really magic about that chord, putting it in places where it doesn't necessarily belong in the key, because it will inherently make the progression want to go somewhere that you might not initially have expected it to go.
When you're saying that about bluesy, that makes sense, because then obviously you're going, say you were playing, I don't know, an E, you've got A, and then it will go to B flat. And if you're doing that on a dominant chord, then it sounds really strange. You know,
That would sound really fucking strange if you went to B flat. That would be the darkest blues of all time. Just B.
But I just mean with the like a pentatonic, but a blues scale.
Oh yeah.
That's like the passing note if you're putting that chromaticism in. So surely with the chords that would fit in. Does that make sense?
Yes. Have fun with it. Play with those chords. Get used to the sound of them. Try and hear them on records. There are great websites out there that you can use to just play given chord sounds out. They're always on piano, annoyingly, which is strange when you're a guitar player. But just kind of hearing a chord, you'll be surprised how quickly you'll just immediately go, that's a dominant 7, that's a major 7, that's a major triad, because they're so distinctly different as sounds. Absolutely. When you really learn to hear the sound. That's
the thing. Like, I know the sounds of the chords. That's what we're talking about as well. It's the terminology and the correct context, I think, are probably the things I don't know enough about yet. You know what I mean? But that'll be interesting. That'll be good fun. That was really nice of Levi to give me a wee 10 minutes. Let's just go for it.
Yeah. We actually started recording. I was like, oh no, let's stop. Let's do this lesson thing that I've been meaning to do.
I thought he was going to do it on camera, but it didn't happen.
And we're going to. I'm going to make a comment now about something you just said there, and I know Yavor, when he watches this, will dispute this. But we were having a discussion about this in the comment section of the theory thing. But so you said something about there which, to me, it comes down to this idea of prescriptive knowledge versus descriptive knowledge. I don't want to learn music theory and then use that to prescribe the things that I should be doing. Like, I know this, therefore the next thing I should do based on the theory I know should be this type thing.
Aye.
I would rather teach theory and learn theory from a more descriptive standpoint, which is we learn about these sounds so we can look at a song and describe what it is that we like about that song. We don't need to necessarily go into the nuts and bolts of, this is the rule that we can take from that.
I think the way I would see that is you're hearing what the song is saying rather than just what the sound is.
Hearing what the song is saying, yeah.
You know, because you get the emotional tie or whatever, say it's quite sad chords, and you're going to get that feeling, that vibe through it.
Yeah.
As you were talking about the major 7 being like the money chord because it's so lush. That that idea.
Sure.
It's descriptive rather than prescriptive. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, there's tons of like. I'm stammering a lot with this because I'm trying to work out the way to put this. I had a great discussion with Yavor about this because I have like a classical background in terms of education. I'd spent years as part of my formal education studying, Bach chorales and counterpoint, and as part of that, you do learn a lot of prescriptive music theory. You do learn this idea of this is what Bach does, therefore this is what you do type thing. And if you follow that path of this is what somebody else does, so these are the rules that need to be followed type thing, nothing ever develops. Somebody has to break the rules, and then those new kind of broken rules, if you like, become the things that we then describe, that then a whole new generation of students use as that prescriptive knowledge to then make pastiches of those same things. But breaking the rules is cool to me because there are no rules. It's music. Express yourself. Have fun. Music theory is should never be a crutch. It shouldn't limit your creativity. You should use it to expand your creativity.
That's it. Like if you were building a house, you wouldn't rely on a hammer to do every job.
Yeah, well, unless it's me. I have building this studio. I had a kitchen knife, right? A bread knife, and that bread knife was used in so many different roles in the building of this studio. You absolutely would not believe how many roles that was used in. And I wanted to get it framed and give it to Joe as a plaque because he was a firefighter. Marcus's dad, he was a firefighter, and he has he's retired now, but he has an axe on his wall that he was presented with. A golden axe, and he tells his grandkids that it's a gold axe. They're like, "Granddad, why have you got that golden axe on the wall?" And he's like, "Oh, did I not tell you when I was when I was a firefighter? That's what everybody called me. Everybody called me Golden Axe because I walked around with this little golden axe, and if there was a fire, you'd see me like, oh, there's people stuck on that top floor. We need somebody called Golden Axe." And then in comes Joe with his golden axe, climbing up the side of the wall with his golden axe and rescue. So I thought nothing would be better than golden axe and dirty bread knife. But I bust that bread knife out the other day to do some more work. So the magic tool, I genuinely probably would use a hammer for every job. My father-in-law will confirm this. Okay. So that was our fun little music theory thing. Why don't we talk some gossip, some shitty drama stuff? And
that's a really good way to put it, because I think this is a topic that we said before we don't want to be talking about, but it just seems to be evolving, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about this on the podcast, and then I followed up talking about this with Kaylin of, KDH. He put up a video just recently talking about Yvette Young, false DMCA, claiming a video, like filing a strike against the channel essentially because she didn't want the content that was put up because she found it embarrassing. And
just for clarity, like, none of us are arguing that shouldn't be a fairly decent standpoint to take, except the abusing the copyright system. And that's the problem, is it's abuse. It's not the right way to do it, and it devalues genuine fair use examples and like the standpoint for everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
No, well, like I don't want to retread the drama between her and Mark, because it's just not the point. It's not relevant.
Of course. The
whole point of that kind of Streisand effect thing is, if you keep bringing something to everybody's attention and keep trying to hide things from people, they are going to talk about it more. When will people learn this? Stop, and the Mark Holcomb situation won't keep coming up. This isn't about the Mark situation. I don't care about that. Let's put that all in the past. Like, it's just not relevant. You have used your management to copyright strike someone's channel, to copyright strike a creator's channel. And sure, you could make the artistic argument that what this guy is doing is barely creative. It's meme videos, it's remixes of content, it's whatever, right? But that wasn't why you took it down. You took it down because you were embarrassed by it. And that's, you don't get to pick and choose what is fair use and what isn't fair use. It would be like listening to this and going, oh, they're criticizing something I've done. Quick, file a copyright strike on their channel. File a strike on their channel for harassment. File a strike for invasion of privacy or whatever. It just doesn't work like that.
You've had your fair share of false strikes.
And, well, to be honest, that's why I'm so protective over the situation, because there was a point where I lost my channel because
I remember.
The manager of two artists, same manager, struck 3 of my videos. He struck 2 of my videos, one where I was looking at Frank Gambale stuff, one where I was looking at Mike Stern stuff, and then I made a video essentially telling him to go fuck himself. So he copyright striked that video.
Oh, I remember there was also some, what could be argued as almost blackmail. And the meaning as well, it was like, you take this down or this is what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it was.
I remember that.
Unless you
really
take this
bad.
down, you'll get your 3rd strike and you'll lose your channel. And that was what happened. And the only way I could get around that was sort of raising this issue with Mike Stern in the end and saying, Mike, like, your manager is breaking the law and he's doing it in your name. And that's just not cool. It's just not cool. Especially when the issue that the guy had with, well, sure, my content was a lot more educational, but I was essentially looking at things that Mike had played, transcribing them, and, then using that as an educational tool for people. And it's like, Mike Stern is, to me, as important Mike is as important to me as Charlie Parker was to Mike Stern when Mike was younger. When Mike was my age, he was studying Charlie Parker licks. And that was what he did. That was how he learned. That was how everybody learned. And that's how people learn now. The idea that someone's manager is like, oh, how dare you? How dare you treat my artist as important and influential?
It's a bit mental, innit, really? It's like, it's not just that. Like, I'm not saying they're not big names, but surely all exposure in a positive light where you're talking about these people with such an emotional tie to it, as well as like talking about how creative it is and the educational benefits of learning these things. How can any of that ever potentially fall under usurping the original, because it's never going to happen. You don't play the full track and then just not talk over it, or B, not being educational and actually adding value. It just doesn't make sense to me.
But we've ended up in this position now where it's like, well, surely we can accept that what I have done has more educational and artistic merit maybe than this silly little meme video, but that would be a dangerous road to go down, because who ultimately gets to decide a piece of art or a piece of entertainment's inherent value? Is there going to be a line that someone is the arbiter of, and if you cross over that line, then it should be okay for a copyright strike to go against it? It doesn't work like that. Either everything that falls under fair use is fair use, or nothing is. And you don't just get to go, oh yeah, but it is a shitty situation for poor Yvette to be in. I get that. It is a shitty situation for Yvette to be in. And I feel bad for her on that. But also, at the same time, you have to take the good with the bad, or the bad with the good in this case. Part of being in the public eye, there are all these wonderful benefits of being in the public eye, but you got to take the shit that comes with it too. And if the shit is people laughing at you sometimes, that's just going to be the way it is. Don't make the situation worse, because I like you. I like the content that you make. I like your music. I think you're extremely talented. You've got an unbelievably bright future. You can go on my channel and look at me making videos about your music, making videos about your signature guitar, and genuinely being like, this is really fucking cool. I like what you're doing. But you have made yourself the bad guy to me. And there will be many people out there that will be exactly the same. And this just seems like a silly situation to be in. And anyway, the reason I take issue with this is KDH put a video up. Maybe go watch it. Yvette has finally commented on it, and here are comments. So, point 1, nobody even bothered to reach out to me, other than the original creator. And if they did, I haven't seen it. So let's respond to that. KDH has reached out to her multiple times prior to making his video, looking for a comment from her. She didn't respond to it. So if you're unable to read your social media messages and respond to emails, etc., etc., he's shown me those messages. There are 4 messages and you haven't responded to them. So point 2, I have spoken to Reverb and they don't want the footage up either and already took down their old video ages ago. Irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who does or doesn't want the video up there. It was a fair use video. Point number 3, I had my management, I had asked my management to speak to him to have it taken down. Proof it wasn't me doing the strike. Check the emails. And I had no knowledge of this even happening until the original creator of the video came at me all mad. I asked to be left out of it because this whole drama sucks and I am so deeply and genuinely worn down, I just want to make music. You don't get to say, I wanted to be left out of it. You got yourself involved in it, you approached your management. And in a response to that, she also said, I also get why this is problematic, but, because of course there's going to be a but it just seems respectful to not have that shit floating around for the sake of his wife too. Again, respectful versus legal are 2 very different things. You can be within the remit of the law and be disrespectful. You know, we can't just say that's disrespectful, throw him in jail. And then here's the comment that really bugs me. I wish someone from my team checked in with me about the strike. They were trying to save me more suffering through my recovery. No, bullshit. You just contradicted yourself. You literally said in your previous comment that I reached out to my management and asked them to do something. You don't then get to say, I wish that someone from my team checked in with me, and then put something in brackets again about, I was going through a tough time. Look, we all get it. We all go through tough times. We missed a podcast last week because both of us have been depressed off our nuts. I know exactly what it's like to be depressed. I know what it's like to lock myself away in my bedroom and not be able to face getting out of bed for days on end. I know exactly what that's like. I know what it's like to essentially not be able to maintain a job anymore because I've been unable to leave the house, okay? I know what that's like. I know what it's like to see the rest of the country go into quarantine and deep down inside be a little bit relieved about that fact, because now I'm not allowed to leave the house. I'm not allowed to go anywhere and people won't hassle me for that. Like, I know what it's like to be depressed. Stop using it as a fucking excuse. Stop using it as a crutch. You will never ever improve if you just use it as a shield, would be what I would say about this.
That's fair enough. I think you're coming from a very heated place. And I don't think anything you said is out of order or unfair. I think the only difference I would have in mind is to give her the benefit of the doubt that she's maybe reached out to her team to ask something to be done, not knowing there's going to be a strike. Mm-hmm. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I'm not going to speculate otherwise. And well, it'd be nice if this would just die.
Yeah, it's just the reason it bugs me is she's refusing to acknowledge the key point, which is what was done was not legal. And when something that's done is not legal, that means it's illegal. And it was done illegally in your fucking name. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to acknowledge that because that puts you in the bad position. You have acknowledged that the first you heard about it was when this guy got in contact with you and was getting all mad about it, right? And what did you do? Not my problem. Talk to my management. It is your fucking problem. It's being done in your name. And he shouldn't have to talk to your management. You should be saying to the guy, you know what? I'm really sorry that that's happened to you as a content creator. Whether or not I like your content, I understand what it's like when you make content and other people want to take advantage of systems that are put in place to make your life more difficult. I'm really sorry that that's happened. Give me 5 minutes. I'll send my management an email. The strike will be lifted. Just get the fucking strike lifted. Just get it lifted. You'll look better for it. You don't look good. You simply don't look good. And there's a bunch of people in this comment section that are all standing up for, oh, look, you know, now Yvette's finally chimed in. I wish more people would see this comment so we can see her perspective. Her perspective does not paint her in a good light by any stretch of the imagination.
It doesn't change the merits of the law either, which is the more important part.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So let's move on from that.
I just want to go back to
do it.
Letting Yvette doing her own thing. her being happy, writing cool music that we both enjoy. We've both seen Yvette live.
Yeah.
And for her to be able to put this behind her, but
Yeah.
as you say, this isn't painting in a good light, and I don't think it's helping letting sleeping dogs lie. Easy for me to say.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a bit brain foggy.
It
Comes with it. The territory is exactly what you're talking about. That not wanting to get out of bed in the morning, no motivation. Like, if I make my bed today, that's probably a really good step.
Yeah. The upside of you coming over and doing a podcast, rather than doing it remotely, is I had to clean up my studio. So I had to come in with a bin bag and do. I finally get it. You see all these posts on Reddit of people talking about, like, I'm finally making steps in dealing with my depression. Look, I cleaned my room. And when I'm in a bad mood, it's very easy for me to look at a post like that and go, clap, fucking clap, well fucking done, good for you. But that can be hard.
As soon as you lose the motivation to do things, nothing is easy.
Yeah,
and things pile up on top of you, and it can be very anxiety riddled to even try and start doing things. I totally get that. I get overwhelmed quite easily as of recent with stuff in the house, even like getting into the kitchen and like there's maybe some dishes, the counter needs wiped, like, you know, like really basic things that wouldn't take long if you just went, cool, I'll do this first and then this next, but then you just go, fuck this, I'm going to sit in the living room.
Yeah, it's like you have a mind melt. I can get through those situations, but only if someone else is there and tells me exactly what I need to do. And it's like I'm a fucking child, and I'm not doing it to be facetious. I'm not doing it to annoy them. I have to do it with Haley all the time. It's not that I don't want to help you. It's like, just tell me exactly what you need me to do, because I can't. It would be so easy for me to just shut down and not deal with this.
I think on top of that as well, like I'd do the same with Nancy. To be fair, I always ask her to tell me exactly what she wants done, and it's like, it's not because I don't know what needs done, it's because I want to know what you plan to do and what you want me to do, and we can work together effectively. And then I know that sounds a bit weird as well, people have got different ways they do housework and different standards per se, and I don't mean that as in like one person's super grotty and one person isn't. I just mean like that, like different ways of doing things, and different, like, oh, I would do it that way because it's better. Yeah, like, cool, tell me exactly how you want it done and I'll do that, no probs.
Living with a person is having a partner is always going to be hard, even if you're best friends, because people are different, and when you ram those two things together in a small enclosed space, you very quickly learn that people are complicated, relationships are difficult.
Absolutely. And I think, again, just to talk about the mental health stuff, I think lockdown has probably fucked a lot of people in a lot of relationships. Yeah. So, anyway, let's move on to some positive stuff. Let's laugh at other things.
No, let's not. Let's enough of all of this depression stuff. Let's talk about something even more depressing. Metallica had the second highest album sales earnings of 2019. Metallica.
Doesn't surprise me.
Metallica, ladies and gentlemen. Metallica. What was that? Sorry, the second highest album sales earnings of 2019. I mean, I'm glad for them. I'm glad for them that fighting Napster was good. Napster bad, beer good. Good old days. I am legitimately happy that they're making some money. They don't need it. But
send it to me. I'm unemployed now, Metallica, please.
Metallica, if you could go and buy a t-shirt, that would really help. That would really help Mike out. What do you think about this?
I don't really know enough about it, but it doesn't surprise me. Metallica have always been a money-making machine. Yeah. Whether that's been, I mean, it's definitely through design, but sometimes they've probably got quite lucky. The very fact that they haven't imploded after Lulu, or even like the negative reviews and just the general stance a lot of people took with like Saint Anger and whatever else.
Load and Reload.
But even back to that, there's been so many. Even the Black Album, I know it's like very well regarded now, but I can imagine at the time, you were listening to like,
I'm sure it split the fan base. Yeah.
Oh, like proper Metallica, and you're like, oh yes, fucking heavy thrash, great, and then this comes out and it's like ballads, and you're like, pardon?
Oh, we're going to talk about them for another story in a second, and the joke I'm going to be making is, well done, guys. You've got a career that's spanning 4 decades now, and you know, I really admire the fact that in those 4 decades you've brought us 7 years of good music.
I mean, you're right, but the joke's also on us because they had the second highest album sales earnings of 2019. You know what I mean? Yeah. Lars Ulrich is laughing all the way to his 3rd gold toilet. South Park, wasn't it?
Yeah. The thing is, when we talk about this, like, I need to make this really clear. I'm not having a go at Metallica. I have no issue with Metallica. Like, cool, go out and earn your money, and I'm glad that you're still able to do that. It's an issue not with Metallica, but it's an issue with the music industry as a whole, isn't it? It's an issue with the way that consumers are engaging with the music industry. It's an issue with how it's funny. It's like a a parallel to society, right? Where's trickle down economics? How is it that the rich are just getting richer and richer in music? Why is it not more spread out? That's what we need: musical socialism, musical communism. That would be. Is there a lot of music in China? Is that
I don't know.
big market for music over
You
there?
and I spoke about ribs in the last episode, didn't we? Remember ribs music? I was telling you about the X-rays from a. No, I did not tell you about this.
No.
See, I might get some of this wrong. My apologies, but there's a genre of music called ribs music, and
Right.
essentially it's like black market jazz,
Right.
basically, right?
Sounds awful already.
So no, but I don't. The content of the music isn't
Sure.
just as important as the story. Back when the Soviet Union was still in full power and communism and socialism were full swing, and obviously certain things were banned, especially like Western stuff.
Yeah.
There were people who would record their music illegally.
Yeah.
And potentially get in trouble, but trying to get vinyl or materials to record on it was nearly impossible. So they would take old X-rays and print them into vinyl.
This is starting to sound familiar
And
now.
because most of them were like pictures of torsos, they
Right.
would call it ribs. So
Right.
rather than saying it was like, oh, we've got music, it's have you heard ribs? And
Right,
that's
okay.
what it is. It's quite cool. I mean, I think it's the world is a very interesting place. You hear all these wee stories of like places that have been locked down from information, or certain parts of society, or certain arts, and somehow humans prevail. Is probably the best way to put it. Like things like North Korea, where it's obviously there's a lot of control by the state.
Yeah.
And apparently there's quite a large underground DVD scene, and it's like USB sticks, and just like they'll be traded, and like if you get caught, you obviously it's very serious. But it just goes to show that I think curiosity beats adversity.
I was going to say, people in poverty will do whatever they need to in order to, not want to kill themselves at all times. You do what you need to survive, type thing.
Aye, I mean, you're not wrong.
The oppressed, if you like.
Aye, definitely. You're not wrong.
Yeah, and it's hard to not look at this and play the poor oppressed musician type thing. You know what I mean? Piracy is a really interesting thing. There's many perspectives that one can have on piracy, and anytime you try and have a discussion with somebody about piracy, it's very difficult because everyone's opinions are exactly that. They're opinions. You can't be objective with this stuff. You can throw stats around all day that will fight your case, but ultimately there's no foregone conclusion. Totally butchered that. There's no conclusion. Let's just omit that part. There's no conclusion. You can make an argument for the positives of piracy. You can make an argument for the negatives of piracy. Obviously, Metallica made a lot of arguments for the negatives. This kind of makes me look at it and go, well, maybe they were fucking right. It bugs me that, ticket prices for gigs remember gigs? Ticket prices for gigs just went up and up and up. And the reason that they had to go up and up and up is because bands weren't able to make money from their albums, so they needed to make more money from their tours. So you look at that and you're like, cool. But I had to look at that and go, but this is dangerous, because the money for tours, the money for tickets going up and up and up is one thing, but the thing you're not raising is the consumer's disposable income, the amount of money that a consumer has per year to spend on tickets or to spend on music or whatever. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to extract as much of that pie, if you like, from that individual. And that's massively problematic to me, because you know exactly what's going to happen in that scenario. Metallica are touring. Are you going to buy a ticket for Metallica, or are you going to buy 25 tickets to 25 smaller bands? I would like to think the 25 smaller bands, it represents much better value for your money. But no, people are going to use that money to put in Metallica's pocket to buy the really expensive ticket. And it's the same with music. Oh, well, I've got to buy Metallica's new album. I own all of Metallica's albums on CD. I own all of Metallica's albums on vinyl. I have to buy the new Metallica album. Oh, what, that new band that have just come out that really could probably do with now I'll pirate their album, or now I'll stream their album. I'll just stream their album, but I've got to buy Metallica's album. Metallica don't need your fucking money. Go out and support smaller artists because they need your money. Go out and buy my album. Go out and buy a Guitar Souls t-shirt.
There's Lars Ulrich there. Quick.
Yeah, fucking raging at me. Gonna throw some Death Magnetic CDs at my head. No, that's not a bad one. Throw some Lulu CDs at my head because no one wants them. Again, can you imagine? People actually chose to go out and spend money on Lulu.
I
They
know.
went out and bought Lulu because
I
they
know.
need it for their collection.
They need fucking psychiatrically assessed, and that's cheeky for me to say.
Yeah, essentially what I'm saying is the reason Trapped don't sell any albums is because everyone's buying Metallica's albums. Metallica didn't sell so many albums. Maybe Trapped would have sold more than 500.
That's a story we've not covered. They were supposed to be playing a
Yes.
Back the Blue festival and got kicked off for extreme views. And basically the venue said, we want to support the police and Back the Blue, but some bands have been a bit extreme in what they were saying, and they'll be taken off for that reason. And I think it was because Trapped said something basically along the lines of George Floyd died because he had fentanyl in his system and it was a lethal dose. Maybe it was something to do with that man leaning on his neck for nearly 10 minutes. You fucking idiots.
Getting any sort of advice from Chris Taylor Brown is hilarious. Just like imagine being the sort of person that gets your political news from your world news from Chris Taylor Brown, the singer from Trapped. Oh, what a clown. Just to finish the Metallica thing, yeah. So Metallica are now the first ever act with #1 mainstream rock songs in 4 decades.
4 separate decades.
As in they've had #1 mainstream rock songs chart in 4 separate decades.
It's Mendel.
That's
Excuse me.
That's astonishing. Just absolutely astonishing.
Absolutely, and it kind of adds to what you were saying. Like, I've got to. I need to buy this single. I need to have this because it's Metallica. Like, there's only so long you can ride a dick.
Yeah,
I don't mean that like in any gruesome or horrible way, but like, surely after you've heard a couple of these albums, you've went, well, actually, they're not really the same band. And if you want to still support them, that's cool. If you're still into it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I know there's going to be a lot of people in that mix that are just buying it for the sake of buying it.
I'm not saying don't support Metallica. I would be really clear about that.
No,
Please
of course not.
go out and support Metallica. But yeah, don't forget all of the other artists out there. Some of them that are really, really struggling. You might be all right to stream Metallica's album. You might. I saw an absolutely hilarious.
Stop saying things like that. You're going to get sued.
I know. I saw a hilarious Onion article. It might have been Onion or hardtimes.net.
I know the one you're going to say.
Yeah. The Spotify celebrate paying artists their $100th this year. It's funny because it's true.
Yeah, we laugh, but really it's like inside despair. Like,
yeah.
Look at these things that you pour your life and soul into. You spend hours a day practicing, a lot of money and resources go into making sure you get the best sound you can get, and obviously your equipment and the maintenance, and not to mention the mental hardship of trying to balance these things out and putting other things on the back burner while you're learning songs or rehearsing, and then it comes out and you don't. I'm not saying you need to have a financial return. I know that's a really dangerous mentality to have in a totally capitalist system of everything has intrinsic financial value and must be extracted to this point. But at the same time, it can be quite disheartening when you're like, we did all of this, spent all this money, we've got a finished product we're happy with, but maybe there's not as many people as we would have hoped have jumped on this. And you know what? I think that's a really interesting conversation of quality of your content versus the quality of your marketing.
Oh, fucking marketing, mate. That's what I'm needing to put more time and effort into at the moment. Put more money into. But it's a black hole in it. It's just so easy to spend a ton of money and see absolutely no return. I was thinking what you were saying there though about what we were saying about Spotify there. I have to laugh because just recently I went back and after watching that new KDH video, his old ones were showing up in my feed, and the Chapman one showed up. I was like, oh, I'll watch that again. Relive my life from 7 months ago type thing. And it makes me chuckle because in there's Rob doing like, I prefer to make my charity donations private. I prefer to keep them. I give lots and lots of money to lots and lots of charitable causes. I just think that's a very personal thing, and I don't think you should share that with other people. For example, this year I've done, and then starts reeling off all of these things that he's done. I think that's the worst taste thing that you can possibly do, which is why I don't make a deal out of anything charitable that I do. I might have mentioned this on the podcast before, and it's like, I say it because it was intended to be charitable, but then you look back on it and you're like, well, really, that's a bit of a slap in the face, isn't it? Who am I with? DistroKid. When DistroKid made you able to have all of the profits from, or any percentage of the money that you make on there donated to charitable things, I was like, cool, 100%. You can take 100% of the money that those albums. So if you now stream or purchase my albums anywhere, all of the money goes to charitable causes. Every single penny of it. I felt that was a good thing to do, and it wasn't something I wanted to make a song and dance about at the time because I didn't want it to be done for the wrong reason. I did it because I thought it was the option was there. I only had to click a couple of buttons. That was nice and easy. But then I'm also like, so that'll be 10p raised for charity this year.
We've had 9 billion streams.
Yeah.
They can now buy more teacups.
They've got half a cup of semi-clean water is on its way to a child that needs it. So thanks for that, Spotify, and thanks DistroKid for allowing me to do that. It's a shame. Genuinely, thank you, DistroKid, for. I think it's a great service to offer.
Yeah.
If people are able to do that, but thanks Spotify for making something that could have been so good, so bad. Go and buy a t-shirt.
Yes, go and buy t-shirts.
Do you want to hear a
All of them.
punchline? I'll give you we'll just read the headline for this one. I've not read the story. I have no interest in reading the story, but it's so funny. It's so unbelievable. Mike, you know Sumerian Records?
Mm-hmm.
Name some of the bands that you think of when I say Sumerian Records.
After the Burial,
Okay.
Born of Osiris, The Faceless.
Right.
I don't know anyone else that was on Sumerian. Heart Machine.
Yep.
For all that. Oh, where have they went with all that money? That's the other one.
Yeah.
Them and Lance must be hiding together. But aye, so essentially, like when you hear the word Sumerian Records, you know exactly what it sounds like. It's superior drummer, hundreds of compressors, bass drops.
Yeah, they have a sound. It's a intense and synthetic sound would be the way I would describe it.
That's
it's
fair.
A very in your face, like wall of technicality sound.
Yes.
Sumerian Records has just signed the Smashing Pumpkins.
Yep.
Oh, that absolutely kills me. That is absolutely hilarious.
Can I read the quote?
Please do.
So there's a couple other bands that are on Sumerian. Asking Alexandria, Periphery used to be, Born of Osiris, and Vela Maya. The Smashing Pumpkins are one of the most influential, iconic, and timeless bands of all time, says Sumerian. This is a colossal moment for Sumerian, but more importantly, it's the dawn of a new decade for Smashing Pumpkins music. Did you, aye? Oh my goodness.
Oh, I love the idea of there being like a Smashing Pumpkins single featuring Lucas Mann. Is any of his bands on Sumerian? No. Okay.
I don't think Rings of Saturn are on Sumerian, actually. I don't know who they're on with.
But
Metal Blade, maybe.
all right, the other guy, Al Moomin. There you go. Smashing Pumpkins featuring Al Moomin.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Billy, we need we need an outlet for this band. There's this band that they don't actually work with the Heart Machine anymore, do they? But there's this band that we used to work with called the Heart Machine. We'd love it if you could kind of help give them a boost by having Al Moomin featured on your new single. How would that go for you guys? This is Billy Corgan, the man that says that different colours of paint sound different on a guitar.
He did a 10-hour live stream of him playing synths, I believe, for the tea shop that he owns, and it was meant to be a live emotional reconstruction or some sort of an interpretation of a novel or something, wasn't it? Cunt's fucking mental. I mean, credit where credit's due. He's a true artist in that regard. He doesn't give a fuck.
I do admire that because it's like to me that's a criticism of modern art in general or interpretive art.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the art itself, is it? It's the fame of the person. You know what I mean?
Cult of personality.
Yeah. If I took a big canvas right now and just got absolutely fucking drunk and was just so angry with the world and then started flinging my shit at the canvas, right? I could then take that to a museum, an art museum, or a gallery, and be like, this is a deep and personal expression of anger and frustration. And it is. That's exactly what that is, a deep and personal expression of anger and frustration. But it means nothing because it's from me. If Billy Corgan did that, enroll them dollars. Lars Ulrich's an artist, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, he does paintings. And
really?
I'm sure Lars Ulrich does paintings. Let's have a look.
Jim Carrey's art's fucking cool. I've seen his paintings before. They're fucking banging. This is like a shoot the shit episode, by the way. I know everybody's well clicked onto that now that we're about 40 minutes in, but it seems to be this is a good fun conversation. But Lars Ulrich was actually an artist. Is this a real thing?
I'm sure he does paintings or something.
Jason Newsted's got some.
He certainly studied art. I'm sure Lars did. Does
that
Lars
does he?
does art. Yeah. I could be wrong.
Lars do art.
last Smash Napster. So there you go. Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins, Sumerian Records. And I'm just reading the comments. Yeah, what a joke. Wrong label. Pure poo-poo.
Pure poo-poo. Somebody was telling me that the guy that owns Sumerian Records is just fucking super rich and just does whatever he wants, which makes sense.
It sounds about right. You know who else has a fuck ton of money and just does whatever they want?
Who?
Periphery. Three Dot Recordings.
True.
They now have a clothing line.
Bottom Raymond.
Because of course they do. A clothing line with limited run designs. To be fair to them, you know, all the criticisms that I've thrown at Metallica, there's certainly a time where Periphery were that band that needed, were in the position where they needed support from a fan base, and I love how effectively they have done that. We talk about them a lot on the show. We talk about Misha a lot on the show because there's very much an admiration for how tenacious he is in business. He's very, very good in business. He's constantly, you know, succeeding where most musicians in his position are starving.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Not just that, like all these projects that he, or all these kind of, I don't want to say side hustles because that really puts it down, but all of his other business ventures all seem to come to something.
Yeah.
I'm no shitting on MD, but Tosin still hasn't really addressed the issues with his guitars, but is away doing fucking
Tosin.
You know what I mean? But he's
just
away.
Reminded me of a Tosin story that we need to laugh at a little bit.
Let's do it. So he's away doing like fucking neural and getting himself a neural DSP set up, which is cool. You know what I mean? Fair enough. And then doing these hybrid selective picking etudes on YouTube and lots of other stuff. And I'm like, cool, that's great, but are there still customers waiting on guitars? Because we never heard any more about it.
I think some of them have started to get guitars now. So
I hope so, man. I hope so.
Here's the Tosin story that made me chuckle over the last couple of weeks. You see, he's in the new Bill and Ted.
Yes, he done all the guitar effects.
He does all the guitars.
Aye.
All the air guitar sounds. I cannot think of a person less suited for that particular role.
I know.
You know what I mean? Not to shit on Tosin because he's got a sound. He's instantly recognizable. He sounds like he does. And of course I haven't seen the new film yet, so I'll have to see the film to really comment on. Maybe there's a reason that he fits in that role, but that is not the sound that you're really looking for that Bill and Ted's Wild Stallions air guitar thing. You're looking for the over-the-top 80s pyrotechnics thing. He's the antithesis of that.
I think if you had somebody like Satchel,
yeah,
like a perfect choice.
Great example. I was going to go like Phil X.
Another perfect, a great choice, exactly. You know what I mean?
Anyone like that. I mean, you could go more metal and go someone like Andy James. Like, he'd still fit in that role tremendously. Maybe he'll knock it out of the park. Maybe all of his parts are like really appropriate. But I guess that's what it really comes down to. Is he going to play things that I can imagine being in the Bill and Ted thing vibe? Or is he going to play like Tosin?
I think he's going to be, I think he's more complete of a musician than we're giving him credit here. But I get what you're saying. Like, you think of Tosin Abasi, you certainly don't think like, oh, listen, like typical 80s, 90s big hair shredder.
Yeah, I think Animals as Leaders are playing. Fingers crossed, Wild Stallions will be their opening act. Like, no, that's absolutely not what I think.
Just like, Wild Stallions, and like they lift the guitars up, and it's just like, it's not the same thing. But it'll be cool. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I am looking forward to checking that film out. I also checked out the new Mulan last night.
Did you watch it?
I did. Yeah.
And
not very good.
I didn't expect much. I mean, I didn't even know anything about it, and then you were like, "No, but it's Mulan."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's probably because I think the original Mulan is like one of the greatest animated films of all time.
Oh, it's dynamite. I watched it with Finlay the other day.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about that.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed. Bit disappointed in New Mulan, but yeah, more disappointed in the fact that I had to pay £20 to stream it. So
yeah, that's pretty fucking poor. Fuck you, Disney.
Yeah.
Money grabbing shill bastards. So excuse me, something in my throat.
Yeah, speaking of money bag grabbing shill bastards, let's stop talking about Misha and Periphery. No, I joke. I genuinely am very I think Misha should, I've said this on the show before, he should be an inspiration to anyone that's listening to this podcast. If you're looking at working in the music industry and being successful in the industry, you know, you have to look at people that are succeeding in times of economic hardship.
Mm-hmm.
Now is not an easy time to succeed in music, and Misha's doing a great job. So learn something from it. Work out why or how he's doing that, and then do the same yourself. So there's only one actually. Did you watch this?
I watched a wee bit. Yeah.
Okay. People were getting riled up about this, and actually, I had a couple of people that listened to the show send me links to this. I had a conversation with one of them about it. Post Malone plays Eric Johnson's Cliffs of Dover in a guitar battle with Andrew Watt.
Andrew Watt's the other guitarist in his band, correct?
Andrew Watt is the producer. Is his producer as far as I'm aware. He did
Right.
He was the producer for the last Ozzy album. He played the guitar on the last Ozzy album.
Right. Okay.
So
he's
yeah.
like kind of Jason Suecof, but less metal and more.
He's supremely generic. There was not a single guitar moment on that Ozzy album that was worth listening to. But you remember, this is Ozzy Osbourne's band. This man
I know.
has only ever hired, the best of the best up and coming hot guitar players.
But he also chose the ones that he liked the attitude most of as well. It
Yeah.
wasn't just necessarily about their chops.
Yeah, maybe Andrew Watt has an amazing attitude, but yeah. I mean, you know who else is all over that record, don't you?
No?
Charlie Puth.
Is that right?
Yeah, he plays keyboards on the album.
Oh, in fact, you mentioned that before, sorry. You told me
Yeah.
that a couple of weeks ago.
Anyway, yeah. So Post Malone, I like Post Malone. This is the defense that I've made of this. Like I had someone, like I said, a couple of people which I had a more in-depth discussion with one of them. But Post Malone sitting on Instagram playing Eric Johnson's Cliffs of Dover, and all right, he doesn't play it at full tempo, and he doesn't play it perfectly. His technique could be improved upon, but this is still one of the biggest names in kind of like, hip hop doesn't feel right, but you know what I mean, like that kind of.
I would say in the current mainstream music coming from America, because let's be honest, he's a household name.
Yeah, he's the biggest of the big, and he has a massive. Okay, so he has 22.6 million followers on Instagram. 22.6 million followers on Instagram. This video of him playing that has been viewed. Has almost 1 million likes. So God knows how many people have actually viewed it. This has probably seen more views. More people have seen Post Malone playing Cliffs of Dover than anyone has seen Eric Johnson playing Cliffs of Dover now, right? So regardless of how well he does performing it, I fucking love the fact that he doesn't just steer into what you expect from him. I loved that he did that live stream of him doing the Nirvana stuff because you just didn't expect it. And when I saw that he was doing it, I was like, well, that's going to be a fucking train wreck. And I checked out, I was like, fair play to him. That he did a great job.
It's fucking rock and roll. It's great.
Yeah.
It's rough around the edges. It's as grunge as it comes.
Yeah, and there's footage of him sat in guitar shops like Vintage and Rare, Norm's Rare Guitars even, maybe. I'm sure it's Norm's Rare Guitars. I forget where it is, to be fair. But him just sort of playing some old vintage guitars and just having a good time. And again, I respect that because it would be so easy for someone in his position to hide away from something that is, for all intents and purposes, quite an antiquated part of music. Real instruments, people playing real guitars. This isn't what his fan base will be into. If you're a massive Post Malone fan, you'll be looking at using electronic sounds to produce your music.
Not just that, Cliffs of Dover doesn't have any vocals.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is by all accounts a guitarist's kind of bit music.
Yeah. And it would be easy for you to go, yeah, well, he's clearly just pretending he likes Cliffs of Dover to get a little, but no, of course he's not. Of course he's not. He knew that piece. He can play more of Cliffs of Dover than I can.
Same.
I've never learned Cliffs of Dover. I can play bits of Cliffs of Dover, but he played from the intro to the end of the chorus. Fucking fair play on him. But fair play to him. You can't learn something like that in 5 minutes. He's put in the time. And I think that's really fucking cool. I think it's so cool that he's not a guitar player and he's not the music nerd type thing, but he's just comfortable enough in who he is that he'll just show you things that he thinks are cool.
He's just a guy that does what he wants. And he's very down to earth in that respect.
Yeah. And
that's cool.
If of his 22.6, any of his 22.6 million Instagram followers watched that and went, that was really cool, I'm going to go check out this Cliffs of Dover, and they go and listen to an Eric Johnson record. If any of them do that, if one of them does that, and goes, oh man, guitars are really fucking, I want to play guitar, then that video was awesome. And it was a great use of his time. So yeah, sure. Other people play it better. But to me, it's kind of the same as when you see like a 6-year-old child playing Cliffs of Dover. You don't listen to it and you go, oh wow, that's the best rendition of that I've ever heard. You're not listening to it for that. You're listening to it because of the the kind of passion that you don't expect from someone in that position. The amount of work that has gone. It's not I'm not interested in the skill. It's the work that's gone into it. And you're like, yeah, fair play to you. And it's the same with Post Malone. Sure, he's a multi-millionaire, very successful, but he's learnt a bunch of Cliffs of Dover, and I think that's really cool.
I'm not at all really bothered about Post Malone's music, but I've never gave much of a deep dive, to be fair. But I just like him as a person. He just seems like he just does his own thing and doesn't really give a fuck. He seems very real. It's probably the best way to put it. Like, he just, everything I've ever seen him do, and it's always just been like he's just doing what he wants, which is cool. There's a really good version of him doing Return of the Mac.
Right.
With, I can't remember his name. A comedian, but he's also a really good musician. It was the Seth Rogen.
It's funny because there's a long list of comedians that are also really good musicians.
I know.
I want to say Ed Helms. He's a really good musician.
I'm going to Google it right now, but it was on Seth Rogen's thingy. Sorry, my phone's picking up the microphone's picking up my phone. Sorry. What was it? Hilarity for Charity? The Seth Rogen thing.
I don't watch anything.
I just sit in the dark.
I just listen to old country music and make videos playing it.
Seth Rogen's Hilarity for Charity. It's really good, actually.
Right.
Craig Robinson.
Okay.
There he's there.
Oh yeah,
I've seen Craig Robinson a million times.
He's in The Office.
Exactly.
Yeah. He plays a bunch of piano in The
and
Office.
a Hot Tub Time Machine as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, the end of this concert, or this live comedy show with skits and whatever else goes on, Post Malone just appears and Craig starts playing the piano and they play Return to the Mac, and it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Return of the Mac, sorry. Tremendous. And it wasn't because I was like, oh my god, it's Post Malone doing it. I was just like, that's a really good version of that song.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing you should take away from it. To anyone that watched this and is like, oh, fucking, look at this fucking hip hop kid fucking appropriating our culture. Nah, that's cool. That's really cool. Because there shouldn't be lines between our cultures. Like, there's no reason that people that play hip hop can't be into cool guitars, in the same way that there's no reason that just because you play guitar you can't love hip hop. Like,
yeah, don't pigeonhole yourself or anyone else, and don't gatekeep.
Yeah. If Post Malone,
I'll try not to.
Look, Posty, if you're listening to this and you want to do a collab, we're up for it. Yes,
We'll get K-Mark on it.
We'll
there's a sealed the deal.
We'll take some time out of our day, our very busy schedules. Mike unemployed, me sat in the house too depressed to leave it and do any work. But we'll get out of our beds and we will sit down here and do a collab video of you. I think that would be really cool. Anyone that wants to see that, please do tweet at Post Malone, because you know it makes sense.
Aye, I can just imagine 8 tracks of me and you sitting in here with the lights off, one microphone in the centre of the room, and it's just picking up us breathing ominously. I've never seen anyone deep throat an SM7B. That was an interesting moment.
Yeah, so give Post Malone a break. I think that's really cool. So
yep, totally agree.
Good on you, son. You keep doing things. And also, if you ever want to tighten up that performance of Cliffs of Dover, I do guitar lessons. So that would be that would also be a good use of your time.
It's a good segue, son. I liked that.
I know. I am the master of segues. You know what else would be a really good use of your time? This show has been brought to you by Ormsby Guitars. If you are unfamiliar with Ormsby and what they do, I would recommend you head on over to ormsbyguitars.com. Absolutely wonderful instruments made out of Australia by Perry Ormsby. They focus on a lot of really interesting things, probably most notably the multi-scale thing. You can see a couple of them hanging behind my head. I am a big fan of the Goliath series. Having said that, I've also almost ordered myself a Hype over the years, and I think the thing that Ormsby do that, well, lots of companies have dabbled in, but they do a great job of it, is these runs of builds. You can go on their website now, check out the pre-order section of their website, and you will see a series of upcoming runs of guitar. You can get in on those with prepayment plans and really get yourself a nice, well-built instrument for an unbelievable price. So thanks to Ormsby Guitars for supporting the show. Go and check them out and let them know that we sent you. Thanks very much. And there we have it. Another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast sadly comes to an end. But as always, a massive, massive thank you to our friends over at Ormsby Guitars. Please do go and check them out. Give them your love. Let them know. Let them know that we sent you, because I'm sure they'll enjoy that.
There's some exciting developments coming. People have been asking for certain things on their instruments.
I've been asking for a certain thing. I know one of the things that's coming, and I've been asking for a certain thing, and that's something I've been asking Perry to do is coming. So,
so there's quite a lot. It's going to be pretty fucking cool in the next year or so. Now that NAMM's been cancelled, I think there's a big focus on. We'll still do some cool NAMM special guitars, but we'll invest the money somewhere.
Yeah,
quite cool. So yeah, it's going to be good times.
That's good. On the note of guitars, if anyone out there is watching and would like to, it's like I'm trying to get my own little tweet army to tweet Levi's wishes. If Jarl could go and I went country there. If Jarl could go and tweet at Fender and remind them that they need to send me a custom shop Brent Mason Telecaster, because I keep doing all these Brent Mason solos, right? And not one fucker from Fender has been like, "Oh, really enjoyed your videos, Levi. Would you like this £10,000 guitar for free?" So, maybe they just haven't. Clearly, that's what it is. They just haven't seen it yet.
And you just need to tag them in every video you do.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing that, but they're very busy. I just imagine that those tags very quickly disappear. But if there were hundreds of us all tweeting at them, constantly reminding, "Hey, Fender, check out this." I really want that guitar. But Jesus,
it's a lot of money.
£10,500. That is a lot.
For that money, you could have somebody commission someone to build you one that
you
would
could
be
have
even better.
For 10,500, you could have any electric guitar that you could possibly imagine built for you.
Mm-hmm.
Any electric guitar.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And this is a Telecaster. This is just a Telecaster. I mean, it has a B-bender on it, so I guess in that respect, there is a lot of complexity that goes into the installation and the design of the B-bender. So I'll give it that. It's cooler than just a Telecaster, but still, it's a Telecaster, and it's £10,500. That's why. And for you Americans out there, that's over there. It's a little bit cheaper. It's like $13,000. $10,500 is probably about $14,000. So it's for
saved a wee bit.
Yeah. Maybe that's my solution. If I just buy it in America, that'll be.
Then you just need to ship it here and pay your incomes, your customs tax.
You know what is stressing me out currently? The UK, we're bringing in a new tariff for imported goods, right? And it goes into place as of the 1st of January.
Right.
You know what's going to get caught in that, don't you? My custom shop mayonnaise. I'm really unhappy about this. It's going to add a bunch of money to that guitar.
Really? Is it bad? What's the difference? I'll be totally honest. There has been so much going on in the last 2 years, and I don't mean personally. I mean, and whatever's going on, that I think there has been a deliberate obfuscation of actual information.
Right. It's I mean, I forget the exact specifics of it. I believe it's a 20% type thing that will be in place for.
So it's like VAT, but for importing.
Yeah, and we knew this was going to happen with Brexit anyway. Like, we knew this.
The poor did, because it's the poor that need to worry about it.
People didn't listen.
The rich didn't listen.
But yeah, having something sent to me from Poland for almost my entire life, if I order something from Poland, I don't expect to pay any tax on it when it gets here.
Look,
I've already paid tax on it in fucking Poland.
Let's just take a wee step back here, and you and I are just going to have to go to Poland and go and visit the guys at Mayonnaise and bring it back.
That'd probably be cheaper. Seems like a nice holiday.
A good excuse for me and you to go and get pissed in a different country. Great. Poland's great. Well, actually, at the moment, Poland is not great.
No?
Poland is having a very, very bad time with some far right.
Oh, okay.
The really crazy anti-LGBT marches and demonstrations to the streets. People being attacked and all sorts.
Shit.
I think there was something put through in law that was really quite discriminatory. So.
I love there's very that speaks very much to you, who you are as a person, that you've missed something about importing things into the UK, but LGBT politics in Poland.
Are you trying to say that I'm no tight? Because I am the personification of the Scottish fucking stereotype.
Well, there is that. I'll give you that.
I'm tighter than 2 licks of paint, son.
Yeah, that is. That's well, I say that. You bought me over Pop-Tarts today. I did. That was so.
It's not that I'm tight. I'm thrifty. It's probably a better way to put it.
Yeah, always looking for a bargain.
Always looking for a bargain. Always looking for a bargain. Can't help myself.
So if you can find me a deal on one of those Brent Mason tellies, that'd be very much appreciated.
Can you imagine if I just rocked up with one?
I mean, constantly.
We could try an AliExpress one, see what happens.
I constantly imagine that something that's turning up in the post might be something that I haven't ordered. just in the hopes that something magical happened.
That's kind of like when, if and when I'm not like into gambling or anything, but like sometimes I'll be like, fuck it, give me a scratch card. Give me a £2 scratch card.
Oh,
or
I'm
like,
the same.
and you're like, there's no way I'm getting any less than 10 grand a day.
Yeah.
It's not happening. And then you scratch it and you go, fuck all. Or like you put £10 into like a fucking, I don't know, 88 casinos on the internet or whatever, and you're playing like slots or one of these fucking stupid games. You know you're never going to make any money. And you're like, oh my God, it's come up. And then it's like, you've won 12 pence. And you're like, what the fuck? I bet 20. Like, I didn't make any money. I found you just went, you've lost less than you thought.
I've actually never done those online casino type things.
Shite.
I'm just, gambling's too much fun, and it would be...
No, gambling in person's great.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like that, the thrill of doing it. I never done anything at the tables or whatever, but the quick shot on the slot machines in Vegas, and I can see why people go there and get rinsed.
Yeah. Because
it's so interactive and dopamine inducing, and it's just like, the atmosphere is crazy, especially when you see other people just feeding machines coins and stuff. But no, gambling in Vegas and gambling in Scotland are two separate animals, I think. We've got casinos here. I've not been to... Well, I've been to a couple, but I've not really been like actually gambling.
I know there's one down Socky Hall Street.
Yeah, so, but my story would be to, and this is what kind of warned me off. Even that I don't really like putting on like coupons or anything. A coupon is like a bookie's line,
right?
So putting a bet on a coupon, and you're putting in for like football or racing or whatever. But I was in the bookies, the bookkeepers. My aunt works in there, and I was in just speaking away to her, and there was a guy in, must have been payday or whatever, but I'm no kidding. I watched him feed £200 of £20 notes into the machine before he pressed a button.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck has got £200 to feed into a computer that might not give them anything back? And the worst part being, by the time I was leaving, I could tell he didn't have any other money because he was getting really quite stressed out about it. And I'm like, why would... If you don't have that money to lose, don't gamble it, man.
It's really easy to say. Just like it's kind of like the same as just don't be depressed. Just be happy.
What I'm saying is it was a good lesson for me to see somebody else going through that put
struggling
me off it.
Yeah.
Not because I want anyone else to go through that, but because that was enough for me to go, cool, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And kind of the same sense when I was younger, I didn't want to get into football because I saw how much hassle happened from that.
Sure.
That idea.
Well, there you go. We do hope you have all enjoyed this episode. Bit of a rambly one, but that was exactly what we wanted. We like the idea of just... But we didn't even look for news stories before this. We just wanted to have a chat and remind you all that we are here. We are okay, just about.
Aye, that's it.
We still love y'all dearly. And reach out, if any of you are going through struggles, know that we're always ears. We are ears that are happy to listen. We're happy to talk. We love engaging with you guys. There are people out there that care. Just remind yourself of that.
Absolutely. And
it's always someone that cares.
Absolutely. And if anyone has messaged me and I've not really told them much, and there's a couple of people who've been messaging me privately, I consider them friends. They're good people. I've kind of been going through the throes of everything that's been going on, and I'm kind of just like, well, for anyone that's been through mental health issues, anxiety, depression, you'll understand how bad it can be sometimes to just even communicate with people, whether that's written or verbal. Like, I have spent the last week or two being useless. And it's a very new feeling to me. Like, I'm used to being not good and getting through shit, especially like hard times. Usually, like you're talking about enjoying the challenge. Usually I'm like, oh well, let's just get through it. Let's deal with it. I'm serious, right? And it's just one of those ones where it's like, deal with shit now, process your feelings later, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I've never ever been in this position before, but it's like I can't deal with shit because my feelings are just like, I feel like I'm in fucking fight or flight mode, constant.
Yeah. I feel bad cutting the episode off like this. So suddenly after that, are you talking about like messaging people like on Messenger?
Yeah, Messenger, WhatsApp, people in person, that'll be that what kind of stuff. Mate. What?
Imagine having to lift the phone with those frail arms. Mike, until next time.
Fuck you, Levi. That's what. Bye, fuckers.